Kamar, can I get a name and a number?
Oh, yeah. 1855, Christopher Best, founder of Substack. Which
old
is still
Canuck.
like alien to me.
You're not on Substack?
Substack to me is what Reddit was 4 years ago. And Reddit is still, I tried to look at it, but
I just don't read anymore. I don't care.
it's the reading thing, yeah.
I don't give a shit.
He started Substack. They said no one will pay to read articles, which is interesting because, you know, if you're on Twitter or something, you see an article for The Guardian, maybe not The Guardian, but there's a couple UK Times.
Yeah, and it'll pop up
Click
the
on
first paragraph, and then it's like, you want to pay for
if you're lucky, you get
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And I don't.
No, God, no.
But there are people who do. So it's like a new generation.
Well, I don't want to jump ahead here. Nate brought up the best point. When he was talking about, he was like, you get to a point where, like, dude, we're in a recession. Do you really expect that people are going to go out and pay for 56 individual subscriptions a month?
When you can get it for free?
Well, I just like, I don't know.
No, but you can. You're not going to listen to that guy, but you can listen to something for free.
Yeah, exactly. And, you like if you have Netflix and Disney and fucking Prime, and then you want like, oh, I'll have these 5 guys on Substack, and like Joe perked up like he's going to be on there. Like his show is going to be $5 a month once this fucking.
Listen, that's why podcasts became popular. That's why YouTube became popular.
it's free.
It is free. You are paying by watching ads, but you do not have to reach into your pocket and pay any money. That's the.
And you're forgetting
And
too.
people think that they're going to, if enough people like me, blah. Maybe that's true. But then somebody will just come out with something free.
But you're forgetting too that podcasts, like, there weren't even ads in the beginning. So it truly was free in the sense, because no one wanted podcast ads. Everyone thought like, this is fucking dumb as shit. Right.
But I mean, that's how everything has to start, right?
No, I get it. But my point is it had like 10, 15 years of like ad-free listening, completely just like people doing it
For the love of the game.
for the love of the game. That's it. And that's kind of what builds a thing up. And
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, no. But I think if
You can't, if, like I said, if it doesn't work, there isn't enough money to go around where everyone can charge $5 a month.
But
like,
there is, because he exists.
sure, I get it.
So it's like we would not do that, and most people older than us. But one of the things he said about why the free speech thing constantly comes up, like we feel like it's reiteration of it. Free speech is absolute. You got to defend your enemy. Great ideas. I mean, that's what this whole thing boiled down to. But there's always a new generation that has to learn that. It's not a unknown. It's a thing that you understand once you experience or see it. So that's why we'll always be, to the day we die, witnessing people yelling about free speech. So it's never going to go away. But it seems like he has a platform that is that, and thus far hasn't fallen down the trap of Parler or anything. You know, most of these things, you hear them come out and like, oh, that's just a hub for right-wingers or whatever. And I don't think they really edit anything because you have to pay for it.
No, but the people who have gone there have also been some rational people. You know what I mean?
He says there's some crazy people on there.
No. I know, but you get like, what's her name?
Barry Weiss.
Right. You know, who maybe didn't know what that word was, but isn't like a kook. You know what I mean? But whereas on, what's that other one that's coming up right now that everybody's going to? It's becoming like a right-wing network. I think Tim Pool's on it. And
Truth Social?
No, and what's his name is on it? Jordan Peterson.
I don't know. I haven't heard of this one, no.
No, for sure you have. Anyways. Yeah, like, I don't know. Those seem to be like, they want only right-wing people.
When he started this, though, they said, you can't do this because people aren't going to pay $5 to read an article. And he's so far a massive success. And I imagine all the people on Substack don't go on Twitter.
It's a weird flex, though.
Or
Because
maybe they have Twitter, but they don't care for it. And this is their news source.
But you're not paying for an article.
You're paying for a subscription to this journalist.
It's the same way someone used to, you used to pay for the Citizen or the Sun.
I mean,
or the
if
Post
somebody
or whatever
said maybe like, and this is what Nate was saying, is, I know we're not on him, but give me a subscription to Substack and I get everybody who's on there. Maybe that makes sense. Maybe that's something I can handle. But if I'm having to go and like pay individually to every person that I want to follow, then like Matt said, there's just not enough money. You have to decide between this journalist and Netflix.
But
Well,
everyone-
unfortunately, you're going to pick Netflix. It's just more
Everyone
bang
who
for
makes
your buck,
over
you know?
$75,000 a year doesn't care about money. We know that. So there is a huge subset of the population.
Well, that's a very small subset of the population, actually.
No.
Of people that make over 75 grand a year.
Are you fucking nuts?
You think so?
Yeah.
I know so.
We live in a government city, so we have a very skewed view of what money is. But
No,
if
I'm
you,
talking about the states. Like, I think
Oh, the
most of the
States, it's
people
like
make
40
under
grand.
40 grand.
$30,000 a year.
yeah,
So that, and if you have a family and like you don't have that expendable income. Not for you do maybe for a couple of channels, but you don't for this extra. That's why I don't
But
like.
even then, Simon, like you're saying, sort of cut you off, is Netflix benefits the whole family. whereas your-
31,000
Your Substack,
US.
your
So that's
Substack
like
subscription is just for
$45,000
you.
a
You
year.
know what I mean? Like you can justify $20 a month for Netflix because you're like, well, my kids watch Netflix, the wife watches Netflix,
Yeah.
I watch Netflix. If you're spending $25 a month on Substack subscriptions, you know.
So you guys are saying this is a dinosaur that's going to die.
No. I'm just what I'm saying is I think we get to a point of diminishing returns where like it's weird. Everyone's fighting against the machine that was like television and just media in general. And now they're just creating their own kind of monster in the sense that like you're still going to crush the little guy because no one's going to have money for them because you guys are all charging $5 a month individually for. And again, I'm happier that the creator is making more money. Like I'm happier that Joe Schmo can create a small channel and live off it with, a following that you would be like, wow, you live off of that. Like there's people who have like 70,000 people following them and they can make enough money to live off of that in a month. And that's fucking awesome. There's no middleman. They're doing it all themselves. My point is just the average person making $31,000 a year, as you just pulled up, it's very difficult for that person. Like if Joe, for example, like if Joe really thinks that his show is doing a great service to people, which I think he does think, then he should always offer it up for free. Always. There should never, ever be a paywall. He should never go to Substack and say it's $5 a month.
Unless censorship gets out of control.
But we know it hasn't.
If going down the road, well, that's why he moved off YouTube.
I get it, yeah.
If YouTube had not censored him, he could still be there, conceivably. They could have worked out a deal, but he just didn't like that they would censor stuff.
I also think it was a money thing. As much as he might
I
not
think
say
it was more a money thing than anything else. Too many of his episodes were getting taken down. He's like, "Fuck this."
Same
man.
difference.
This
If those
is
episodes
stupid."
weren't getting taken down, he may have stayed with YouTube.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, for sure. I just don't think it was for such a virtuous reason. That's
What
why
I think
tend to lean that
Substack's
way.
main advantages is there's no enforced narrative by it. Like with any news, Fox, whatever. I don't care what.
Well, it's your choice.
That information source has here's the facts, but
it's not really the same either, though, because they're not the New York Times, where
But they
New
have
York
someone who
Times
wrote on the New York
conceivably
Times.
takes responsibility for their authors, right?
But the New York Times is owned by
used
Retractions
to.
and
the New York Times is owned by a corporation and
I know.
has to
yeah.
represent something.
Yeah.
It's not just like we don't care who you are, we have to report the news. This is that.
Well, the editor thing was a weird talk because, like, I understand what they're talking about. They're talking about, like, a newspaper editor. But if you're a writer, you should have someone go over your work as an editor. That's not crazy.
Yeah.
100%. Like, if you write something that you want people to read, you should 100% have someone
another set of
proofread it.
eyes
Sure,
on
if
it.
you're making a living off Substack, you have an editor.
I
You have a
agree.
little team.
I agree. I'm just saying they were acting like, editors are the worst thing in the world. And I was like, you need someone to go over your shit.
Well, editors who have an agenda are the worst things.
Yes.
I understand that, and I
editors,
agree with that.
necessary.
And if they're, towing the line for the New York Times,
Which they
right,
have to, 'cause it's
who's
their
owned
job.
by the guy who fucking Rupert Murdoch, whoever who has an agenda. Yeah, that's where things get sticky. I guess my problem with this whole thing, Kamar, is that it needs to be free. Like, if you're getting all these amazing people who have the real news, but then you're putting it behind a paywall. It means a lot of us aren't going to get it. So what's the point?
I think,
but
if you need it to be out there.
But how does Glenn Greenwald make a living? He's searching.
Well, that should be the point of. That's where Substack comes in. You have to be creative in a way to figure out how to make money for your platform without selling out.
well, it's interesting because
Everyone gets paid.
I think it's going to be way more successful than it is now. Like Substack will be a brand, like a home, what do they call it? A household name, brand, eventually if it keeps going. Or it's going to go crazy, start having porn, ads. It's going to be interesting to see the evolution of this. But it seems like he's a smart guy. He made money at another tech company, built something and sold it or whatever. It's not like he started this up in a garage. So he's all right. And he seems like a good head on his shoulders.
I love how you said that. Even if he did start this up in his garage, that's how Apple was started. So who gives a shit?
Yeah, but I mean, that's just more of an impetus that I need to make money off this.
I get it.
And is it impossible to have an ad model that is not like inherently crooked? Meaning that you have some algorithm or program that is if I own a business and I want to be able to sell my wares on Substack, I have to meet this criteria of like do no evil or whatever it is. And then then you would know that all the ads that you're seeing through Substack are approved through this process. And it's like, I would like that. You know what I mean? I'm not inherently against ads. There are lots of things I want to hear about that I'm never going to hear about unless a company advertises them. It's just usually that the shit they're advertising is fucking like Delta 9 or dick pills or whatever the fuck it is. You know what I'm saying?
Like, are you annoyed that there's this possible important information being disseminated and you don't have access to it?
Okay. Because I'm not going to pay it because I'm cheap.
What is another weird thing is you hear about a problematic tweet or a post or something like this. I've never heard anything like take it from Substack and then it makes the news like this person is saying this.
No, hold on.
But why would the news do that? That's their direct competition. You don't hear
they
CNN.
Can't even mention it. Well, they mention Twitter though. They'll mention someone says something on Twitter.
Yeah, but that's a little bit different in the sense that like that's someone's private Twitter. I don't know. I guess you're right.
It's still underground. That's all I'm saying.
Just back to what I was saying for a second, because you didn't give it any credence. But then the people who would be advertising, it would make sense for them to want to do it because they know that the eyes that are being, it just seems like a win-win for everybody. How come that has never been tried before?
I just think these, the problem is these companies, like, I don't know.
Sponsors add corruption to the mix.
But they don't have to.
They don't. This is what I'm saying. Like, they do because the people who you're having sponsor are inherently corrupt. Don't have those people. Not all businesses are bad.
I'm sure it'd be more detrimental right now because they obviously are functioning and there are people who are into it and paying the subscription. If all of a sudden ads popped up, they'd be like, fuck this, I'm out of here. Or maybe not. Maybe they're too addicted to it.
Fine. So it couldn't be Substack. You'd have to start a new thing. You would be free, though, in essence, right? You have these people who are paying you money to advertise aren't giant corporations that are like pulling strings to decide what you say and what you don't say.
This is what I'm saying. This may be the new thing. You've always talked about you can't start another Twitter, you can't start another YouTube. Substack may be low-key the new thing.
Again, Substack, but you're asking for money. Like we can do this for free. This is what I'm saying.
I think we are set in our ways, and it's so easy to click a button now, like on your phone or whatever. If you had to pull the money in your wallet and mail off the subscription, it's just so easy now.
Hey, Matt, if I made a platform where you knew 1,000% it was in our agreement that I would never, we're not even going to take your data, you know what I mean? Okay. We have no interest in that. That doesn't happen here. And every ad you hear goes through a strict process. Here are those things that they have to clear to be. Would you not go there? Like it costs you nothing. Would you not pick that over viable, fucking Substack?
If that was viable, it would exist by now. That's what I think. Or maybe it's coming down the pike.
I mean, it seems like a little more work on the front end, and
Your problem is though. See, you're angry with Substack, and I don't think you should be. They're like what Kamar's saying is the guys that created it aren't in it to make a ton of money. It's the creators that have to make money. And I get what you're saying. You're like, listen, if you can throw ads on and have it for free, then that's much better. I get that.
they still make money. They probably make more money, more than that $5.
Substack.
I've said
No,
this.
the
content
cre-
creators.
everybody makes a ton of money at that point. Like, and not only that, but it's good money. It's like righteous money.
I
I've said
think this is a super noble, cool thing.
Hold on. I've said this for a long time. If someone like Mr. Beast tomorrow decided, you know what? Fuck YouTube and the ads. I'm going to start, and I'm not saying like going off the rails, but if he just said, you know what? We're not going to edit out the word fuck anymore. We're going to keep the word fuck in all Mr. Beast videos. Those advertisers aren't going fucking anywhere. Believe me. Like, if you think, and this is the problem, is like McDonald's is the type of company to be like, if they say fuck, we don't want to be advertised on. But I'm telling you right away, someone like Mr. Beast, they don't give a shit. He could pull his cock out in those videos at this point.
I thought you were going somewhere really different. I thought you were going to say Mr. Beast could just pack up, leave right now, and start his own
I
thing.
think he may.
He could, no problem. And especially him, because he's already proven that he doesn't give a fuck about the money. He gives all his money to charity
I think
anyways.
he's going to be.
That
one
would
to
be
watch
the
for.
perfect guy to shift over. Mr. Beast, if you're listening to my idea
You guys-
here, it's all yours. Do it.
So I'm just curious. So Mr. Beast starts his own streaming service. That's what you're saying? Okay. And where do you find it? Like it's on the internet, obviously.
Well, he's going to have to pay the same way. He's going to be an entity on the
A
internet.
website.
I know you're missing my point. So he's a website, but how would you search for Mr. Beast?
No. There are other searches besides. What do you mean? How
My
are you
point
gonna
is
search for it?
90% of web searches are done on Google. Google owns YouTube. If you start a competitor to YouTube, they're going to fucking bury you like they do every other business that competes with theirs. Your search, Mr. Beast's page is all of a sudden on page 9. And you
Even
can't fucking,
better, Mr. Beast should be like, and nobody use Google to search me. Only use DuckDuckGo. Like,
Which
dude,
I think is owned
do you
by
know
Google.
how it really would be easy to change all of this? It's
You're
not
forgetting.
that hard.
Dude, you guys heard him say himself, why would I go start my own thing? I have it made in the shade over here.
Yeah.
I know how it works.
For sure. I'm
everything's
not
good.
saying he wants to. I'm saying if Mr. Beast decided that he just, wanted to fucking change the game, change the whole layout of like the way we run shit, he could do that, I think.
So
Yeah,
there-
I agree. But that was my point, Simon, is he tomorrow could go and change the way YouTube does it by just saying, I'm going to keep saying fuck in my videos and you're going to keep giving me advertising money because guess what? I'm the biggest YouTuber out
Yeah,
there.
that doesn't solve our problem of every advertiser on YouTube who's big enough to control what may or may not be decided to be shown.
I think
right?
the reason
Like,
why
that's,
YouTube has a competitive advantage is they're saying it has uploaded 500 hours per minute, which is a weird thing. Time, that's 500 hours per minute is 20 days a minute.
Yeah.
It's almost like time travel that this is compacted and it doesn't even make sense how that works.
It does. It makes perfect sense. There's 8 billion people on Earth and a lot of them are constantly uploading videos.
But you could have more time in less time.
No, that's not how that works.
It's not how it works, but it sort of is how it works. 500 hours in a minute.
Well, collectively, there's
I know it's
8
not
billion minutes
literally
in a minute.
happening. Exactly. Anyways, I thought that was cool. Substack is a new portal.
Simon's face.
He said an interesting thing that when it comes to headlines, if it asks a question, the answer is generally no.
No, yeah.
I thought that was very.
That's
he
so
quoted-
true, though.
He
Of
quoted
course.
someone.
Can we catch 1 million rats?
Yeah, no.
The answer is no.
No need to read anymore.
Kamar, you were asking about Substack, and I should have answered. It will be a dinosaur thing of the past because no one reads anymore. And
I think we don't read, and we think that
No.
we are a cross section of
If
everybody.
they started it for free, Kamar, if it was free, of course it would be amazing. But no, I don't believe that anything that goes on. It's too early, man. We're not there yet.
I
Where
think this is
people
one
are
of those things you guys are
paying
going to be
like that.
really wrong about.
I mean, yeah, for sure. I've been.
I
wrong
hope
about
I am.
everything.
I hope I'm dead
He was
wrong.
not cheering for the demise of mainstream media. He was asked like, do you want to crush all MSNBC or whatever? He's like, no. Like, we're just another news portal for people, and I'm sure it's a higher educated. Definitely, money's an issue, so maybe it's a bad thing that way. That important information is only being disseminated to people with means.
The rich. Oh, isn't that interesting?
Could Hunter S. Thompson exist today?
Well, I mean, yeah, there are people like him who exist.
But do you think he'd be taken seriously, or like there's no?
Well, I don't think he was ever taken seriously.
Okay, I don't know, but there's no current like journalist writer out there who's just getting fucked up, who's like almost has a rock star status. They're all pretty straight laced now. It was funny, the footage of him shooting out at his house. It was very interesting, as Matt said that he was like, "Do you guys have video? Do you guys have a podcast?" Very interesting. And I felt like I heard that. He was asking right at the beginning, "Do you guys have video? Do you have censorship?"
To Joe?
Joe was asking Bess,
this gentleman. He said,
Sorry.
"Do you have podcasts?" He said, "Yeah, we host podcasts." And he said,
"Do
"Interesting."
you have a video component to the podcast?" He's like, "Yeah." And he said, "Interesting." And then it was awkward. And then he said, "Why do you ask?"
And then you could hear Chris Best's erection hitting the table under him.
Because that could be another thing. If Joe were to go to Substack, that would make it mainstream.
Well, Joe could just go and he could write some essays or something.
He's not going to do that.
Obviously, the people, we don't read it, are producing stuff that people feel like is a value of $5 a month or whatever the arrangement is.
Yeah, and I'm happy they are. I'm like, again, Kamar, my thing is like, listen, the wheat will always separate from the chaff. So like the Glenn Greenwalds, the good journalists should be getting money and the shit ones shouldn't. That's how it should be. But I'm just saying is like, if let's say there's 100 great journalists in the world, you can't afford to pay $5 a month to subscribe to all of them. That's just not.
But maybe you only need one of them. And like he said, there's a bunch of people in government and stuff that read these. There's people who do international journalism and stuff like that, and they benefit, like it helps their job. So, I mean, at some point, it's a tax write-off. You could probably say these subscriptions are for your job.
Sure, but Kamar,
Justify it that way.
I'm going to go back to it. Like when you subscribe to a paper, you were getting a plethora of different ideas.
Sports section.
Yeah, you got a cross section of everything. If you're just subscribing to one, and again, you might say to yourself, this person's very even in their, dissemination of information, but everyone has a little bit of bias. That's all I'm saying. Everyone.
Well, we're critical of something we've never laid eyes on.
It's true. Yes, we are. I'm not even critical. Listen,
I understand.
I think it's a great idea, and I'm happy they're doing it. And I'm happy that good journalists are making money for once. That's great. I can't afford it.
How
I'm critical of anything that goes directly behind paywall without first building up its like.
Because
you have to pay your dues, right? If our eyes are all that matter, then pay your dues first.
FOMO.
Give me a bunch of shit for free, and then maybe if I like it,
you're missing the point again. Is like Glenn Greenwald can't afford to do free journalism for 6 months, so you can then decide if you want to pay $5. He has to feed his family.
If you're not paying for the product, you are the product. With Substack, you're getting the product. I don't know what else.
I see what you're saying, because he's not working for a major.
He's out there on his own. He has to put money on the table. So you paying $5 a month.
So the
has
options,
to be worth it for you.
Yes. So I'm just saying is it's not a Substack. You're looking at it too much like Substack is like YouTube and they're trying to charge the money. Substack is simply offering up a platform for you, the journalist, to say, if you want to pay me X amount of dollars a month, this is what I'm willing to give you. It's almost like our Patreon.
And it's algo. It is exactly like the Patreon.
Yes, it is.
Except that we give this for free. I guess that's the point.
It's algo.
I know we're not
tells
Glenn
you
Greenwald.
other articles related, but doesn't do, I guess, the extremity of YouTube with the rabbit holes. The Mandela effect, Arkham's razor. It should be the Shafir puppy effect moving forward. It's the only example he ever uses.
It's so true,
of
though.
Controlling the algorithm, but as we've witnessed, but he should just call it the Shafir puppy effect. I think it should be scientifically acknowledged.
But Kamar, we set it off the jump that if you fall asleep with autoplay on and you've clicked on the wrong video, YouTube all of a sudden is going to smash you with those videos. It's the same thing. Like if you go to mine right now, it's like fucking first-person shooters, Fall Guys, soccer, football, Pat McAfee.
You become the average of the people you hang out with.
I hate that, but it's so true.
It's so true.
Probably makes
sense. Then they talked about Mr. Beast and audience capture, and that's really what you were talking about. If you have 70,000 of anything coming with you, and
not 70,000 coming.
Nate talks about it as well.
Yeah, willing to pay a little bit of money.
And that $5 to Substack.
And you hear
even $1.
And you hear Mr. Beast, Jimmy, however you refer to him, tell you how the sausage is made. Like, I'm making stuff that just is undeniably you got to click on it, and you're not mad at it.
Well, yeah, it's like Dude Perfect. Again, they're a perfect example of like you're gonna click on their videos if you see it because it's not, you're like I'm on the can anyway. What's this 10 minutes? Like this is the perfect thing for me to.
But like I told you, Kamar, with Ratmageddon, remember that story?
Yeah,
The Mink Man.
yeah.
It said 1,000 dead rats, Ratmageddon, and I said this can't be true. There were 1,000+ dead rats, and he had us viewer for life. So
There you go.
there's your flip side of the coin.
Now, does audience
He doesn't
capture
even listen to me. It's crazy.
the
Go
Rat
ahead.
King? Does audience capture, influence, or support someone's work? Like that sort of idea when people are leaning a certain way because they know they're going to get, like on certain platforms, you're rewarded for being lefty, or you'll get canceled if you're right. So you sort of construct your message in the best way possible to get to the most eyes. Like,
Well, again, we saw it
it
with Tim
manipulates
Pool.
it.
Yeah. So is that a question or statement?
Well, is it influence or support? Like, does it support you, make you do better work, or does it skew your work? And therefore, that's another reason why Substack is better than these guys doing their work on platforms that are influenced by censorship or whatever pushing it is. And we know it's not at the Gestapo level right now, but people do get canceled for saying stuff.
I don't know. I guess Tim Pool is the best example, right? Like,
I think it influences it. The money is pushing people to write telling people what they want to hear.
I think the money is, that's the end game for everybody, right?
I mean, and speaking of being canceled, I also forgot to mention in how was my week. I saw Louis this week to a packed house. So
It was amazing, right?
yeah,
My friend said it was the best thing he's ever seen.
Tom Green opened too. Wasn't the best thing I've ever seen.
How was Greg Fitzsimmons?
He was good. I had seen a little bit of his set though, like at the store when I saw him.
okay.
But he was great.
Well,
Listen,
that's not good.
How can he still be doing that set?
That's not good.
no,
at
just
all.
like I think there was one bit in there that
That's
I was.
not good.
Well, that's what I said to my. I said
10
that-
years
no
ago.
way. Must have been a good
no,
joke.
that was
you
4
remembered
years
it.
ago. 4 years ago.
No way you were with the Comedy Store 4 years ago.
No,
We've been
like
doing this for
wasn't
4 years.
COVID and COVID.
I was in
that's-
LA the year before COVID.
5 years ago.
No,
Anyways,
it's probably 4 years.
anyways, I like that he's still doing a joke, and my friend said it was a really fun time.
Yeah, Louis killed it.
He's
Obviously,
the best. I would love to see the Rogan umbrella. He got into asking Joe, if you didn't do this, do you think someone else would be in your position? And it was really like, if there was a Joe Rogan, would you have to invent him sort of
Well,
idea?
you answer that question.
Yeah.
no. The answer is no.
You don't think anybody there would be like a king of
Just hear me out. There would be a king. There's
Podcasting?
always someone at the top. That's not my point. I don't think they would have the following. Joe covers the
Yes.
the Venn diagram of Joe is too large for someone else
any
to.
other person, just enough
I don't-
people with different sort of backgrounds all culminate in the same spot.
Hunting, fitness, health, UFC. Like the only thing
Comedy.
I would say the only thing he doesn't
Fear
touch.
Factor.
The only thing he doesn't.
Aliens.
Yeah, the only thing he doesn't
Talk
touch
radio.
is sports, and he does because it's UFC. But outside of the UFC, there's not a lot of sports.
Yeah, if Joe was like a football fan, oh my god.
But I bet you football players listen to Joe Rogan.
No, tons of them do. That's not my point, of course, because again, the Venn diagram is so big. But I'm just saying, like, Joe has never had a baseball player on. He's never had a hockey player on. I think he's had two football players on. He had Arian Foster
and one only because he said he could beat up a mountain lion. It
Yeah.
wasn't because he was a football fan.
And who's the guy who had the neuro stuff? The guy who used to play for the Broncos,
Oh, Romanowski.
Romanowski. He was on. I'm pretty sure. But you know what I mean? He's never had any like other than MMA. He doesn't have a lot of sports. But other than that, the Venn diagram of Joe is too big, and that's why I don't think anyone would.
So that the Venn diagram for people to get to him, but then the Venn diagram of what he's made. Like if he's Joe Rogan at the top, then you have Your Mom's House,
Yeah,
then you have Theo Vaughn,
dude. Any
Then you
any
have
comedy
Schultz,
podcast
then
outside
you
of
have Two Bears, One Cave,
The
then you have
fighter
Burt
and the
Cassidy,
kid.
you have the fighter and the
yeah,
kid.
you have so many.
I was thinking in my head Kill Tony, but I think he started that.
Oh no,
on
Kill
his own.
Tony for sure.
I
What
don't
are you
Yeah,
think
what are
talking
you,
so. I think
nuts?
he started
He
that.
got red band. Like the whole thing comes
Okay,
from
Yeah,
Joe.
Red Band's part of the
that's
umbrella.
umbrella
Yeah.
adjacent, but just all the things and the trickle down to
dude,
like,
the Legion of Skanks. They probably did it. 'Cause
No, they started their own.
Yeah, they started their own.
They started.
what do you
their
mean?
own.
Hold on. So Joe didn't have a podcast.
They benefited from.
No. There was no like Joe helping them in any way.
I get it, but I'm still saying, listen, if Joe hadn't paved the way, like, think about all the people that Joe says were like, why are you wasting your time with this bullshit? those would have been Big J and Louis. I guarantee you, Louis J. Gomez, when Joe started his podcast, was like, "Look at this fucking idiot and his dumb, stupid. No one's gonna listen to this stupid shit."
They talked about Rogan and shit on Rogan for sure. I mean, out of love, because they were like, "We'll never get on it," and lo and behold, they got on it. And now that Chipley's on it, anyone can get on it. But I've noticed Joe
not us.
talking a lot about left-wing comedians on Twitter who are unsuccessful.
Yeah, he's really unhappy about some of
And
them
he
lately.
could name names, I'm sure. That being said, there aren't many successful. They aren't, which is sort of they think.
Hold on, what do you mean left? Bill Burr.
Say it again.
Bill Burr is
Bill
left.
Burr is left, but he skirts the line, like his abortion joke or whatever.
Yeah, he's a comedian, but he's left.
But when he's on Twitter, he's not like constantly bitching about Trump, constantly bitching about the Republicans. Like
I think you're talking far left.
the far left comedians aren't thriving.
I don't think the far right comedians are thriving either.
Oh yeah, for sure they are. I think they are.
Who are the like Owen Benjamin?
No, he's
Well, he's a far right comedian.
no, he's gone around like 3 times.
No, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know who would you be referring to then?
And who's a far left comedian and who's a far right comedian? I want
Who
some
is
names.
portrayed in media as a far right?
Sure,
person?
tell me. Far right and far
Joe
left.
Rogan,
Well, the far left
Well,
would be
no,
that.
Come on, man.
Who's that
We know
lesbian
that's
from
not the
Australia?
case.
Dave Chappelle,
Okay.
He's center.
but he's accused of being
far right.
Well,
Well, he's accused of being a bigot, not far right.
Well, that puts you far right.
Exactly. I can't.
You're
think of-
talking about Nanette.
Yes,
See-
that's far left,
Yeah.
right?
But
Yeah,
she's
am I
not
correct?
she's not like radical left. She's just
Jim
a
Gaffigan.
weird
Jim Gaffigan.
There, that's left.
And he plays right in the middle, so he's nice.
Jim
He's
Jeffries
very
left.
successful. Yep. There you go. I mean, there are a few, but there's a lot of guys who are very, very funny who I've seen on Twitter, and they're not selling tickets. So maybe they're lazy.
I would say this: your best bet in comedy is just don't be political. No one really
Yes,
wants to
yes,
hear that
that-
bullshit.
definitely
Be
that-
a fucking comedian.
that is
Make
true.
us laugh.
And you definitely have to have some sugar for the medicine
just
to go down.
be funny. Just be funny. Be undeniable.
Yeah, Steve Martin, exactly.
Steve Martin. It's not even Joe Rogan anymore. Be undeniable.
As we were talking about before with Trump, I don't care how you got to get him out of office. Just get him out of office. Like that'll solve problems. That's madness. But I believe that exists in people.
For sure. Well, look, Biden is president. That is
It's
living
it's
proof.
It's insanity, and that's not the way.
Living proof.
They should just focus on making things better and like let Trump be. Because to be honest with you, I don't know anything he does now. That he went to the True Social, which they mentioned, by the way, does the same thing Twitter does. So you can't win. Like if lefty voice come in, they get blocked or whatever. Apparently, I'm not even on it, but I can't follow Trump, and so for me, he's gone away. Except he's brought up in the media all the time, which I think is very interesting. Like, why wouldn't they go into Dick Cheney's house to find out what you knew about the Iraq War or what? At this point, knowing they lied about weapons of mass
Well,
destruction.
probably because they didn't have the proof to convince a judge to let them go in. I'm telling you, I think my Alex Jones thing, as crazy as I usually am, and just making, I think that one might be right. It's
be.
like, it really does make sense. If they had the proof on that phone, it would be so easy to convince a judge to let them go in. Like, come on, most people don't have their house raided for exactly that reason. You need to go and get a warrant, and most judges won't give a warrant unless it's like
I think it was just theater.
Justified.
totally
was
justified.
an
though.
anonymous-
I mean, listen, there are bad judges.
An
There's no doubt
anonymous
about it.
source told a judge, I think Trump has these documents. That's how they got the warrant. An anonymous source. So this was theater. This is used to humiliate him. This is made it like he's doing something really bad. I don't think anything will come of this except embolden his base, unfortunately. We'll see. The ozone hasn't been fixed. The ozone hasn't been fixed. We thought it had been fixed. Did you guys think it had been fixed?
The ozone hasn't been fixed. It hasn't been fixed. Did you think it? You're hilarious. You are the media. I didn't think. Why did I think it had been
I
fixed?
think we were talking about acid rain as just examples of us.
Apparently, the ozone layer was a problem. They told everybody they had to stop using aerosol cans. Everybody
was in, like, the
stopped
90s, right?
using aerosol cans,
Yeah.
and then the ozone layer wasn't a problem anymore. I don't know if there's a direct correlation
all
between
climate
the
change
two,
will go down the
or
same
if the-
road.
well, maybe. Kamar.
But we got to try.
Well, yeah, I mean, usually we try things, and then if they don't work, we scrap
It's a
them.
teachable moment.
Kamar, this podcast is climate change. You realize that, right? It's
we-
probably not going to
we have
be
a what?
anything.
We
It's
have a
probably
footprint.
not going to be anything. It's probably not going to succeed, but we still show up every week and try, right?
We're trying to make the world a better place. Yeah.
Well, no, we're definitely not doing that. That's never been my
Long.
goal.
It's a long analogy, but I'll take it.
Pretty short analogy. Took about 2 seconds.
It's a stretch, but
It was a stretch.
crypto, it seems like it's coming back. He was.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
But he wasn't like. Obviously, the powers that be, they are fighting crypto, right? Governments and whatnot are terrified of this idea.
I think that could be the biggest false flag ever.
You think it's just it has no value and it's
No. Think
come
about
and done.
think about it. Like, okay, let's say there was a new world order and they wanted a currency like China has, but they're like, we can't offer it up. They'll never take it. So a CIA op guy who's good with computers creates Bitcoin, gives himself $1 million on the off chance that this works, and hey, look at us later. 10 years later, Bitcoin is a thing, and everyone is like, oh yeah, no, it's a decentralized currency. It's perfect. It has nothing to do with the government. For all you know, the CIA could be, first of all, the FBI is like the 6th largest holder of Bitcoin. I don't know if you know that. So the FBI could single-handedly shift the price of Bitcoin anytime they want.
So you think that the whole structure of cryptocurrency was a CIA op?
It could vary. It doesn't have to be the CIA.
Love it.
Well, if I was a young CIA agent trying to make my druthers in the 2020s,
Well,
that's exactly what I would
aren't you the
do.
head of the CIA now?
That's exactly what I would do. No, you're still a young.
Oh,
it's
gotcha,
not me. It's some young guy.
No, I'm saying, but that young guy, if you came up with crypto and now
No,
Bitcoin
that's fucking brilliant. But I mean,
because think
it
about it
didn't
too.
work. Then why did it crash?
It doesn't matter if it crashes. You're missing the point. Is you're taking money. You control a market completely at this point, right?
Yeah.
Because you hold 1 million Bitcoin.
Okay.
And everyone thinks that that's just in a mysterious missing wallet. So you hold 1 million Bitcoin. You single-handedly control the market. If you want to break the backs of all these rich Americans or anyone, boom, Bitcoin's down to 0.
Oh, that's interesting. I was gonna say, why would you make this whole thing to just crash it? But that would be.
You don't even
why.
have to. You don't even have to listen.
Well, nobody's.
You don't care about whether it crashes or not. You're making it to make it, and then let the market do what it does.
No. I understand, but a lot of people are gonna lose trust now. You know what I mean? That's just how it's gonna be.
Until the next fucking.
I guess
Until the next spike.
maybe, or we'll see what happens. You know what I mean? If it keeps going and
I'm just saying,
everybody loses.
You look at Bitcoin. You zoom out. This exact crash, has happened 5 other times.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And it always I guarantee you, in 3 years, Bitcoin will hit 100,000 without a doubt. 5 years. 5 years. 5 years.
They
Okay.
brief.
Well, right around the time when YouTube is dead, Bitcoin will be
Okay,
worth
there you go.
100, I guess, right?
They briefly, because he's Canadian, mentioned the protests and the freezing of bank accounts, which at the time, because you're so frustrated by the thing, you're like, well, you gotta do something to shut them down.
No,
But
the freezing of the bank
We never
accounts
said
was
that.
always ridiculous, and especially the ones where people tried to donate money and then they throw. That's
concerning.
That's
It's concerning.
bonkers.
And
Yeah.
it's even more concerning now that it's come out that
Yeah, for the record, too. Don't.
they had come to an agreement the day before they did the Emergency Act. They
Oh,
thought they
I didn't know this.
It just came out, and that no one in Health Canada had asked for mandates for travel, and it was sheerly political.
Well, that doesn't.
Trudeau thought if I mandate people to get vaccinated, everyone's gonna be happy with me. But no one said you should do this for the health of the country. So that's a bummer.
I thought you just said travel.
Yeah, the federal government controls trains and planes.
Yeah. Okay. So what did Trudeau do?
He
Put in the
said
mandate that you couldn't
have to
travel
get
without a
vaccinated. If
vaccine.
you don't get vaccinated,
Yeah.
you can't get on a plane.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
But no one in Health Canada said this will be a good precaution.
To have the populace get vaccinated.
It doesn't make a difference. They knew what we know now.
No. What are you saying?
If you were on a train,
Forget the train. Did Health Canada say that the populace should get vaccinated?
I think they recommended, but they didn't recommend you had to force people to get vaccinated. Just like when it first started, Trudeau was like, if you choose
What
to get
Simon's
vaccinated-
saying is, if the best route to getting people vaccinated is to tell them you can't leave the country without getting vaccinated, then
I'm just
Simon's saying
asking
is
what
it's mission accomplished.
Health Canada's, are they saying that the vaccines were no good?
No, they're not saying that.
Okay. then.
So we think it is good to force.
So no,
people
I'm
vaccinated.
no.
No, it's against. Listen,
I
we
was-
have a charter of human rights, and it was against that. And on that alone,
You keep Trudeau and vaccinations as one thing, and I'm just trying to separate them out for you. We are all not in favor of Trudeau.
Yeah. This just came out like a week ago, so this is new information. It's
What
not like-
I saw was that he got political pressure to stamp out that trucker rally really quickly from other countries, which is very
this is a
interesting.
bad look?
Yeah, like, you know, the world's going into the shit. We can't have this going on. Fix your problem, little Canada, you know?
Oh, that's sad too. With Substack, the creator is the moderator. Well, sad that we're taking orders from someone. Like, we should be an independent country.
Yeah, I think it's more like goes to your whole new world order thing, like fucking Klaus Schwab.
Oh,
and
that's who
where
told him.
Austria or whatever is like, get your shit under control.
I thought it was Jamaica.
wherever, man. A mountain in Antarctica.
man, we can't be having these truckers protesting
Come
down
on,
there.
Mod. Come on, Mod. Be irie.
I don't think you guys can do that anymore.
Yeah, I can always
Guess
do it.
what? No one's listening. I don't give a shit.
In Substack, the creator is a moderator.
Yeah.
That's another cool thing. Instead of the platform being the moderator, that probably allows them to make a lot more money. They don't have to have moderators for the thing, right?
What do you mean? You still have to have a moderator. There's still rules.
Yeah,
You
but
set the
you
rules.
You are
control
the
control your comment section. I think if they let Twitter and everything go off, did you guys see that documentary, The Most Hated Man on the Internet?
Yeah.
So the thing about that guy, he's a total piece of shit, and he went to jail. Like it's not like he just ruined people's lives and ran off into the sunset. He didn't make a lot of money even. If you open up Twitter and YouTube, I think for a month it might be bananas what was on there, like crazy hateful. But I think it would.
Hold on. YouTube's open. The comment section is wide the fuck open, unless the person who posted the video.
Exactly. So I guess they're the creators, the moderator as well.
And on YouTube, you can put up pretty much whatever you want within reason. You just won't get ads. And as long as you're not, like, if you're stealing copyright, they'll take you down. But you know what I mean? There isn't a lot, like,
I swear to God, till this moment, right now, I did not know there was fucking a chat in YouTube.
Not all have them. Sometimes it's disabled.
Do you
what
know
do
what
you
I
mean?
mean?
Comments? You didn't know there was comments on YouTube
Yeah,
videos?
like where are you seeing?
It's the biggest
What are
thing
you,
in the
fucking
world.
nuts?
I don't read the comments. That's why I'm watching the video.
Well, that's fine, but there's definitely comments.
Okay, I know. I'm just saying it doesn't have to be a huge part of your viewing experience.
But that's how people grow a channel. I know you don't subscribe to that. People grow a channel through responding to people's comments. That's why a lot of channels you'll hear them say, I respond to all the comments.
Gotcha.
So leave a comment.
Gotcha.
Also, the more comments, the more likely the algo is likely to pick it up. And
Yeah, it's all just a scam.
He doesn't love.
No, but really, like the whole thing is just it's all just a cog in a wheel of a machine in the
Okay.
end to make money.
when they were talking about the algorithm, YouTube's algorithm is designed to keep you there so that you watch more videos and they generate more ad revenue. That's all it is.
And the people making the product generate more ad revenue.
Sure.
Right?
The people making what product that's being sold?
The videos.
Yes.
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 Everything's to make money.
Of the people,
That's what YouTube is built
there's
for.
no
yes.
virtuousness here.
Well, you could argue Mr. Beast is doing virtuous
Oh,
things.
he's doing virtuous things.
So there are people on YouTube doing virtuous things, using the money generated from these ads to
He's
go
just
out.
kind
and-
of gaming the system, I guess. Because in the end, he's just taking that money and dumping it back into these videos. Like it's just this endless.
if it ain't broke. Of the
But
content,
he gives a lot. I'm sorry. Just hold on 1 second.
we got to move on to.
He gives a lot of money away to like his friends too.
Well, he gives them lucrative jobs.
Well, no, but a lot of those videos that they do,
Yeah.
like some of those people, well, I guess they all become his friends in the end. But like, you know, if you're playing like hands on a Tesla or competing for an island, that's all his buddies, you know?
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
There is some, like, it's like Mr. Beast is doing just fine, I guess, is my point.
Yeah, I'm aware of how well Mr. Beast is doing. Thank you, Simon. Okay, Simon, wrap this bad boy up.
We are conditioned to materialism, which is obviously done by
Just said that.
the powers that be.
Yep.
It'd be funny. Well, a world there's no glasses, there's no wheelchairs, there's no technology that helps our lives better. And that's
Say it again.
imagine a
He
world
just
no
named-
glasses, no wheelchairs.
Where everybody just has to fend for themselves with all their maladies.
Exactly.
What
Pretty
about
bad.
what about that?
It's an extrapolation of how technology is inevitable. These are technologies. They're different from a
Yeah.
phone or whatever.
necessity is the mother of all invention. Yes.
All this good or bad, it's sort of doom and gloomy, is just inevitable at this point. The cat's out of the bag. There's no going back. There's no way we're going to not want the newest phone. We're down the road. As he says, hopefully we steer in the right direction. Ideas that can't be criticized, he can tend to become evil. They become rudderless. So that's why you need comment section. That's why you need bad ideas. That's why you need criticism
Right. You don't want people just creating into a void.
and to avoid.
But maybe that's the
when
best
things
way
go
to
bad.
do it. Is it?
Or this
Or that's how you get the things that are the most pure.
or this current period of light censorship we've been experiencing is actually an impediment, and we'd be way further along how we just let the gates flow and everyone get their hate out and move on.
I wonder if we would have just started a giant forest fire that would burn down the whole, network.
Like that guy, the most hated guy on the internet, and internet bullying, I think is a generational thing, and the younger people aren't even into that now. They're above that.
I think you're crazy.
There's always
because
assholes.
There'll always be trolls. There'll always be assholes. But this is a generational thing. We can't imagine paying to pay for someone.
Yeah.
Someone born today will know it. And
The problem is, you may be right, Kamar, that we as a people become more virtuous, but at the same time, Russia is just sending out more bots to bully your children,
if that's true,
If that's true.
Rate
he said, is an alternative to the attention economy.
You got in the last word.
I give it a 3.
I'll give it 2.5.
2.
Look at us.
Good Canadian boy, though. I'm
porridge
proud
was
of
too
that. I'm
hot.
proud of
He
that.
was
because
Canadian?
of-
Yeah.
Good for him.
if that
I
becomes
changed my mind. I'd pay $5.
You're not
late.
paying it to him. It doesn't
late.
even matter.
Well, he's got to make some money, Matt. He's not doing it for free,
Okay.
right? They make something. Substack
I'm sure
makes some
Substack
cash
keeps
somewhere.
a small percentage of every transaction. Yes.
Yep, he
In
was very
perpetuity for
open. He was
life.
very transparent. I think
You
this-
own a business. That's how business
I
works.
said in perpetuity for life.